Or is -1 off the top? -1 off the end. I'm waiting for you. Okay, let's. Start to our class and get started. We have lots of notes to take. Our objectives for today. Jocelyn, read the first one, Micaiah, the second one, please. Okay.
Students will be able to identify verb numbers and tense to agree with a singular and or plural subject.
So we talked yesterday about subject and verb being what a complete sentence needs in addition to a complete thought. And today we're going to make sure that subject and verb match in number and the tense is correct for the verb in context. We will do a group practice briefly after notes. Now our notes are gonna be a little bit lengthy. You've got lots of space there, but it will go very quickly. And then independent practice before our exit ticket, okay? So, let's quickly first go over our do now. We're just gonna do a couple of, actually, let's go do them quickly, and then we'll do one, where, the first one where we do an explanation. An explanation or a justification means that you can tell me how you know it's a complete or an incomplete sentence, okay? What does it have or not have that makes it a complete or incomplete sentence? So if we just practice that on the first one, went to the store, Denisha, is that a complete or incomplete sentence? Incomplete, how do you know that? It doesn't what?
Yes, it does.
I'm sorry, I'm talking to Denisha, please don't call out. Okay. It doesn't say who. So what part is missing if it doesn't say who? You're right, exactly right. So, a noun, and we call that noun what? Denisha, what do we call that in the sentence? The noun that's doing the action. We call it the subject, okay? So, no, the explanation is no subject. All right? Now, let's move down to, number 5. Number 5, I ran through the hallway. I ran through the hallway. Jarvis, is complete or incomplete? Complete. So it's complete, it means it has a subject and a verb. Who is doing the action, Jarvis? I. Okay, so you would write subject, I, and what is the action I is doing? Running, so ran. Verb, ran. Okay? Just so we, you have the information for your notes. Number 2 is incomplete, and it does not have a subject or a verb. And number 3 is a complete sentence. She is the subject, and scored is the goal. Is the goal. Is the verb. My best friend Sam is an incomplete thought. We have the subject Sam, but we have no verb. Okay? All right, flip over for our notes.
What about the last?
We did the last one. Sorry, you missed it.
Oh, never mind.
Okay. So subject verb agreement. This means that if the subject is singular, the verb has to be singular. If the subject is plural, the verb has to be plural. They have to agree. It gets a little tricky because they're opposites. That it's called agreeing in number because it's how many? Singular, plural. Okay? So this means singular subjects use singular verbs, and plural subjects use plural verbs. John? I'll pass this one. Now, we're also going to talk about tense and how that helps you figure out the number, okay? Present tense means it's happening right now. And the tricky part about this is that the nouns and verbs are formed for singular, so a singular verb, a singular noun, in the present tense, in the, actually using the opposite structure. The opposite structure. So, in a noun, and this is gonna be a little confusing, I'll help you with it in just a second. In a noun, you remove the S if it's singular. So we have one light. That's singular. No S on the end. 2 lights. We have an S on the end for plural. So if it's singular, there's no S in the noun. Now, of course, nouns don't care what tense it is, but in the present tense for the verb, okay,
Everyone must look.
you had an S for the singular form. This is a typo, okay? Okay? You add, in a verb, in the present tense, you have an S for the singular form. So, walk, all right? No, hold on. See, this is the confusing part. Sorry about this mistake. Singular verb, I walk is singular, and this is the third person. He walks. Okay? Singular, he walks. You put an S. Okay? They walk. They is plural. There's no S. She walks. She talks. She sits. She blinks. Put an S. Now, we're only talking about regular verbs. So we're not even going to explore any irregular verbs but one, and we'll get to that later, because that is a whole different lesson. Completely different lesson. We're talking about regular verbs. Yeah, I read.
So on our paper it say plural. On our paper should say
what I want you to write down, just to be clear, is this. Okay, so up on the board, eyes up here. Thank you, Lonnie. Think you will. Knees up here. I want you to write it this way, whatever is on your notes, add this. A singular verb, you add S. So you can write it this way, or you can write it this way. This is more specific, but if you know what that means, fine. A plural verb is no S. Okay? Go ahead, Will. You cannot make up your notes in class from somebody else. You have to do it later.
Why not? So I can get it from a friend later?
Later, not in class.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, this is gonna come a little more clear with our examples. So the dog, that's singular, one dog. There's no S on the end. The dog chases the cat. You have an S on the end of your verb. So singular noun, no S. Singular verb has an S. It's the opposite. Okay? It's the opposite. All right? Dog is a singular subject, no S. Chases is a singular verb, you add the S. We don't say the dog chased the cat. We say the dog chases the cat.
Can you put ED up here?
Yeah, but that's not present tense then. I'm talking only about
Oh,
present
only
tense.
present tense, okay.
Talking about present tense, okay. Good question. Okay, another example, the can sits on the shelf. Okay? Can is singular, one can. Sits is singular in the verb, present tense, S on the end. Okay? Can is singular, singular subject, you don't have an S. Sits is a singular verb, you do have an S. Okay? We don't say the can sit on the shelf. Now we'll look at plural. Okay? Present tense again, that's happening right now. Again, the noun and the verb is formed in the opposite way. Okay? The S's are used opposite. So with a noun, you add an S to it. If it's more than one noun, you add an S, okay, to make it plural. But a verb in the present tense, if it's a plural verb, you remove the S. No S. Okay? We're gonna look at some examples. Tommy, eyes up here. Make sure you got these notes. Okay, good. Thank you. All right, so here are examples. The dogs, now we have more than one dog. The dogs chase the cat. So dogs, plural noun, has an S in the end. But the plural verb, the dogs, they chase the cat. No S in the end. Right? Dog, plural subject, add S. Chase, plural verb, no S. We don't say the dogs chases the cat. And this other example, plural, the cans sit on the shelf. Cans is the plural noun, sit is the plural verb. Plural noun has an S, plural verb does not have an S. Drawing with me? Got those notes in? Thank you. Lonnie, you got the notes in?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay? This is all present tense, just to clarify. Present tense we're talking about. All right. Now, if you have words that come between the subject and the verb, this can be anything. It can add description, it It can just add some information. It can tell us location. Doesn't matter. Any words that come between the subject and the verb, you ignore them. You act like they're not there in order to figure out what form the verb should take. You only look at the subject to figure out what form the verb should take. Okay? So only look at the subject and verb. The gray scissors, which are on the table, do they belong to Sam or belongs to Sam? Jocelyn,
Belong, because it's plural.
I couldn't hear you.
Belong.
They belongs, okay?
All belong.
Belong. You ignore where they are. You ignore what color they are. The scissors belong to Sam. Okay? Plural subject, plural verb. The scissors belong to Sam. Okay, Jocelyn, question.
Belong.
Okay, the scissors belongs to Sam. Does it sound right? Scissors belongs to Sam?
Oh.
Here's what's confusing about this example using scissors. When we think of scissors, if we picture them, it's one item. However, we call them a pair of scissors. Pair means two, and that's because, this is the weird part, it's two like knives put together to create the scissors. So scissors, even though it's a single, looks like a single object to us, we think of it as plural. And it's written as plural, scissors, with an S. Okay? All right? So that was actually a good question, very good question. So ignore everything else, just the subject and the verb. All right? Scissors is the plural subject, belong is the plural verb. Now we're going to talk about to be. The verb to be. This is the only irregular verb we're going to talk about today. And it is extremely irregular. To be means a state of being. And you know that a verb expresses an action or a state of being. We use the verb to be to show a state of being. Okay? So, I'm going to tell you this too. The verb to be is the most commonly used verb in the English language. If you read a page of text, I'll bet you see it 15 times. But you don't recognize it because it's extremely irregular. And it never, when it's conjugated into tenses, it takes the form of be. We're going to talk about this, you'll see this in just a second. We use to be also as often as a common linking verb or helping verb. Okay? I want you to fill in this chart. Make sure you don't miss the I here. Since it's only one letter, it's easy to miss. Okay? So fill in this table, and then we're going to talk about it and see it in sentences. Marco, you can go. Stop listening, please. Okay, now, This is the verb to be. And you don't see the form be anywhere on here. The verb to walk, I walk, we walk. Move that down here, we walk. He walks, I walked, he walked. The verb to walk, the verb to sit, the verb to see. When you conjugate it, singular first person, I see, I sit, I sat. But in the present tense, you see the verb sit. I sit, he sits, we sit, they sit, right? This is the verb to be. You don't say I be, you be, she be, they be. You don't see the form of the verb be.
What about
It's
we?
completely irregular. This is the verb to be. State of being. I am, you are. He is.
What about we be?
Okay, so we don't say we be, please don't call out. Okay? When you use the verb to be, a state of being, you don't use the form be. It is. I am, past tense, I was. You are, you were, past tense. Present tense, she is, she was. First person plural, okay? We are. Past tense, we were. Okay, third person plural, they are. Past tense, they were. Okay, we can see this more. All right. Now the linking verb, so to be is used as a linking verb, has to agree with its subject, just like any other verb. Okay? This goes back to not the word or phrase that describes the subject. That's what's in between. You do not scratch that out. You ignore it. Okay? For example, the list of items is on the desk. You ignore what's describing the list. It's the list. There's only one list on the table. The list is on the table. There are a lot of items on that list. That's not the subject. The subject is the list. Okay? The list is on the desk. Right? Singular subject, singular of the verb to be, that's is. If we replace list with a pronoun, it would be it is on the desk. Singular form of the verb to be. Okay? No? Okay, let's do some more examples, see if it helps. If it'll go. Why is that going? Oh, they're on our paper. Never mind. Okay. I read. We are looking at the verb to be because it is so frequently used, particularly as a linking verb or a helping verb. Okay? So in our examples, we're going to see some more examples. All right? Well, let's do them together in our group examples. Okay, so we're going to do our group practice, okay, which is on page 4, page 4. I want to go over these instructions first. John, could you read the instructions, the bullet points that are under remember? Yes, please.
The subject and a verb in every sentence must agree with each other in number. A noun is
Yep.
plural is usually in S. If a verb is plural, it usually does not end subject is never within
Prepositional
prepositional phrase or interpreter.
interrupter. Prepositional phrase is that descriptive phrase on the table. The list is on the table, okay? We're on page 4. Everybody there? Okay, we're gonna do these together. Okay? Now, the directions. Micaiah, would you read all the directions, please?
Direction, underline the subject, circle the correct verb, justify your answer using one sentence. Justification should include the word subject, verb, singular or plural.
Okay, so we are going to do several steps here with each of these, and this is what the same as what you'll do in your exit ticket. Okay? I mean, in your independent practice. So, you're gonna underline the subject, circle the correct form of the verb, that means it has to match in number, okay? Justify means explain your answer in a sentence. I'm gonna show you another way you can do it, you'll have an option. And your justification or explanation should include the word subject, verb, singular, or plural. Okay? So, the girls from Seckman High School is or are arriving early. First of all, Jerron, sit up. What is the subject of this sentence? Trinice, what is the subject of the girls from Seckman High School are arriving early? Girls. Underline the subject. Just the girls. Okay? From Seckman High School does not matter. It's describing the girls. It's not the subject. Just the girls. Okay? So, if that's the subject, Irene, which verb would we use? The girls is arriving early or the girls are arriving early? Are. It's plural. Girls is plural. Are is plural. Circle the correct verb form. Okay? Question, Justin?
So, we do this contract for, the school, in the high school?
If that helps, yes. If that helps you see in this example that the subject is the girls, not anything to do with Seckman High School. That's just to help you focus in on this one word is the subject, the girls. And girls is plural, so you use the plural are. In this sentence, this is gonna help with that linking verb idea of to be. We have two verbs. What are the two verbs? Denisha, what are the two verbs in this sentence? We circled one. What's the other verb? What's the other action? What's the main verb? What are the girls doing? Arriving. Okay? So we actually have two verbs, are and arriving. In this sentence, the verb to be is a helping verb. That verb has to match in number with the subject. So we have plural girls, we have plural are. Lonnie, you can go. Okay? Response -1. Okay, next sentence. This one's a trickier one. Okay? Sorry, oh, I'm sorry, you're right, we didn't do justify. Okay, justification. Everything I said I wrong. Okay? Girls is plural. So we use plural are as the helping verb. Now in the next one example, I'll show you another way that you can do it and I'll accept either one. Okay? Number 2 is a little bit trickier, but if you think of it as exactly set up the same way as number 1, it'll be easier. It's trickier because it seems a little odd to think of it this way, all right? But I'm gonna call on someone to tell me what is the subject, the one word that is the subject in number 2. The heads of state arrive or arrived for the conference. I want the one word that is the subject of this sentence, okay? Tommy, head up, please. Head up, eyes up here. Okay, so I can see them open. All right? Micaiah, what is the subject? One word. Heads is correct. Meredith Micaiah. Heads is the subject of this sentence. Of state just describes what they're the head of. Okay? Just like from Seckman High School described what the high school the girls went to. Okay? Jarvis, you go. You see that? So, heads is also singular or plural? Lamonte, is heads singular or plural? Is it one or more than one? Heads. Plural, more than one. Got an S. That means our verb is not going to have S. It's the opposite. So which verb am I going to use with the heads of state? Lamonte? Arrive. Because heads has an S, so we go opposite on the verb, arrive. The heads of state arrive for the conference. The heads arrive for the conference. Okay? Question, Jasmine?
What if it's a plural, action, you're gonna use a single?
The action is only plural because the subject is plural. Okay? So that's a really good question. It's the subject that determines whether we use a plural verb or a singular verb. Okay? All right. So the way you can write it here that's a little bit easier, just write subject equals heads, which is plural. And so verb equals arrive, which is also plural. You don't have to write it in a sentence. Okay? All right. We're going to, I'm gonna just go ahead and give you the answers to the next two so you can do some independent practice. The problems with Robbie has or have to be resolved. The subject is problems, it is also plural, so we write the problems have to be resolved. Okay? Laura, together with Jessie, sings the alto part. Laura is the subject, singular. So Laura sings the alto part. Even though she sings it together with Jessie is not the subject. Laura is the subject. All right, now, for your independent practice, go ahead and get started. I want you to do as many as you can. I want you to do them identical to what we did in the group practice. You have 8 minutes
That's good fun.
to do this activity. Please. What I'd like you to do first is underline the noun that is the subject in each sentence. I'm going to come around, I'm checking that you're underlining the noun that is the subject in each sentence.
Bless you.
Denisha, can you tell me what I'm looking for when I come around? What am I gonna look for? Okay, I was afraid of that because there was some noise in the classroom which was a distraction. I'm gonna come around. Okay, I want eyes on me. Thank you. That was was an excellent response. I'm going to come around, I'm going to check that you are underlining the subject of each sentence. Do that first. Okay?